All right, what's going on, everyone? It's been an interesting weekend. I was basically, I don't want to say exclusively, because maybe about 20% of my time, 15, 20% of my waking hours was spent not doing this. Um, but it was very highly concentrated, the time I spent this weekend on trying to get the Steam page ready. And it's not ready. For a couple of reasons. One, I just didn't make the art assets fast enough. Two, I still have to wait for Steam to approve the art assets I upload anyways. Um those are like the two reasons. What's up, Arctic? However, I did make some pretty cool art, but it takes a while. The way I approached it was I was kind of making an entire painting, but in pixel art form. Like I was making a high resolution painting using pixel art techniques, which means everything is very microscopic and like takes forever. Um, However, I do have some stuff to show uh for what I've worked on. This is pretty much everything I worked on over the weekend. What are you working on today? So today I'm gonna do some more stuff to get ready to make the Steam page. Um, and I do have a plan for what I want to do today, and that's going to be to improve the look of the UI panels, and then try to implement a 3D version of the Drake body. So you're not just like a lizard the whole time. The Drake body will look way cooler. Um, those are like the two mainstream goals. But before I do that stuff, I'm going to like do a quick recap of what I did this weekend, or like summarize to you guys. None of the stuff I made is going to be in the game. So I adhered to that principle pretty well. I didn't even work on the theme song, the trailer song. I don't even know if I'll be able to make a trailer before everything else. Maybe. Is the Drake body a dragon? It's a body type for the dragon. It's an upgrade you can get, which changes the shape of the dragon. Maybe I should try to pivot more to a system where the players sort of define the dragon themselves a little bit more. What would that look like? Like a spore creature creator. Uh, hmm. You would still, I mean, the shape of the dragon is consistent enough where I could do something like that, but I'd need like a separate UI setup for controlling those parameters. Like it wouldn't really work very well in the current upgrade system. Um, yeah, there would have to be something else. There would have to be like a, oh god. Yeah, that would basically be like a creature creator at that point. Can I listen to the theme song after we recap? It's not done yet, but if you want, I can play what I have available. But that I did work on that on stream on Thursday. So if you want, you can go back in the VOD and you can listen to it right now. You can listen to it there. But if you want, I can play it here once I'm done doing the recap. Um so yeah, here is the first iteration I made, and like, it's not bad what I was going for here. I don't know exactly where I wanted to use this. I guess I just wanted some sort of symbology for the start page. But I forget exactly why, but at some point I basically stopped working on this. I think it's because I wanted a dragon that didn't look as angry. I sold the VOD, but if we don't listen today, I'll listen later. Alright. I'll try to replay it. And this is some other art stuff I'm working on. Um so yeah, I was like, I want a dragon that doesn't look extremely pissed off. And that led me to making this. I guess you can see a lot of the components here. This is the logo that I've made for the game. Which, looking at it now, it looks way better than when I was looking at it before stream. I think it's because of this outline and it's presented in a good way. I'm glad you think so, Arctic, because I wasn't sure about it, but yeah, it's like a little scale with an S. And I went through a couple iterations for the logo as well. At first, I was gonna do an eyeball where the the eye or the pupil is in like an S shape, but I felt like that would be too common, or I feel like it's been done in too many other places, like the CryEngine logo. Um, and I could have made that work, but I felt like something scale shaped would be more unique to my game, and I'm happy with it. I'm glad I like the way it looks, and I think doing it with the eye approach might have been more difficult to make it make sense spatially or make things clear. Um, but I should have like a version of that here. Yeah, so so I kind of went with like I don't know exactly what this would be, like a metal look, like a rough metal look here. Um, I'm getting a lot of indirect inspiration from Skyrim, I feel. Uh, doesn't look like the Skyrim logo though. It's just I'm definitely taking some subtle inspirations. Like I'm definitely borrowing some aesthetic elements there. Um, However, this was the other logo I had in mind. And I might reuse this for some other thing. I could turn this into a full dragon face or something. But as a logo, I felt there was too much going on. Have you ever heard of Daggerfall? Yes. I think I've played it. I think I've played Daggerfall before, and it was interesting. I didn't play it for too long. It's very difficult, which I didn't mind, but yeah, I didn't play it for a very long time. So yeah, I also made that. Oh, and let me close this out. Yeah, here is the dragon art that I made, and then I figured out I could do this really cool thing with brushes where it's among the biggest video game maps ever. Yeah, and if I remember correctly, it's like it has procedurally generated elements, but it's within like a contained space. I feel like they have simplified the Elder Scrolls games over time. I feel like Morrowind was a really good balance. If we could get like, not balance, I don't want to say, but Morrowind was, if the gameplay of Morrowind was modernized, that would be an ideal level of like gameplay possibilities with like the spell creation system in Morrowind and stuff like that. And that is no longer a strength of the Elder Scrolls series because they just stopped doing that. But I found out I could do this really cool technique with these brushes that I made where I can like paint at any angle and it somehow looks very coherent and cool. So I did that for all of these little crystals. This is supposed to be essence. Um, I think it still needs more though. Um, yeah, and I made like a fancier version of the text, the title text. I like the dragon even has some crystals from the crystal biome. Yeah. I guess I wasn't thinking of these as crystals specifically from the crystal biome, but maybe I can work that in somehow. Like if you break crystal nodes, you can get essence or something like that. Maybe I'll just spawn crystals all across the world and you could collect them that way. I also wrote some descriptive stuff for the game, and it kind of helped me solidify what I want for the game a bit more, which was helpful. Um some of the things I kind of reminded myself of there was that I want you to be able to get essence and progress in more than one way. Like, just killing enemies shouldn't be the only way to obtain essence. You can do it by, like, eating things. I want it to be like a... Okay, Just Cause 3 did it. The other Just Cause games probably did it as well. That game, those games, Skate did it. Skate 3 is the one I'm most familiar with. So I'll say Skate 3 did it. Speaking of which, Skate 4 or lowercase s Kate period is looks like it's I think it's almost ready to be in early access. Oh, I should talk about that at some point. The neck is too long. It's only because there isn't a body. Like, this isn't necessarily... I couldn't decide fully between, like a profile or a headshot and, like, a full body thing. So I kind of just added a good chunk of the length of the neck, and then I didn't add the body, which is why it looks off. Alright, Arctic. Oh yeah, so Just Cause does this, Skate 3 does this. What other games? Crackdown kinda does this. Kenshi kinda does this. But basically, I want there to be progression with anything you do. So, or have points awarded for anything you do. So it doesn't just have to be killing enemies. It could be eating things. It could be doing a cool maneuver. It could be, it could be destroying things. I think destroying things should give you essence, for sure. Everything you do will give you some level of essence, and you can basically choose through that a strategy that you return to if you want to get essence. And depending on the type of action you do, you could get like different colored essence. So now I'm kind of incorporating more than just like the orangish yellow color. There's other colors of essence you can get now as well. And I feel like that's a good idea. So yeah, that's something I kind of reminded myself of when I was making the description for the game. Trying to think what else. That was like the biggest thing I'd say. But yeah, I also... Let's see. I kind of put everything together in Krita. Now I have to wait for Krita to load. Okay. Paint.net. And this was what I had. This was what I was working with. It doesn't look bad, but I think it needs work. If I want to make it as good as possible. What else? Is there anything I'm not really covering? I made some other things, like... I made a lot of misturns. When I was... There's gotta be an actual... Gotta be a better way to say that. I don't know. But I made a lot of, like, missteps in the process and things that I had to end up scrapping. But I tried to preserve as much as I could and recycle as much as I could. And this is basically the product of this weekend's labor. Yeah. So, let's actually get to working on the game. And yeah, at this point, I will say that whenever possible, I'm going to publish the Steam page. So that could be by the end of this week. That could be 3 weeks from now. Hopefully not. But yeah, I'm kind of trying to abandon the it must be done on the weekend mentality. Although that is when I have the most time. So Yeah. Although I'm working on the game as a whole every day. So, right now at least, with like the marketing stuff. But yeah. Let's improve the look of these panels. Let me go to Godot Dragon Game, Project, Sprites, UI. Slate Accent. I'm going to call this... I'm going to make a copy of this file. I'm going to call it, rim accent, like a metal rim. That was kind of what I wanted to go for. And we could probably reuse this layout. Probably fine. There's not a lot going on here, so this should actually be very fast. Make all of this the same color. Okay, I want to give this a slight rounded look. Why is it not erasing? Okay. Hmm. Or should I give it a rounded look? I think so. That's probably fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the saturation here. Oh, it's also affecting the other panel. Let me delete this layer. Select all of this. Put that on a separate layer. And I'm going to... This is just for the buttons, right? Because we had another one where it had like a texture on it. Or like texturing, I should say. It had like a pattern, almost like a tiled pattern. And that one did not look very good either. Yeah, we're going to try to adjust the contrast here to give it a more metallic look. This might be easier to do in multiple passes. Also, since this is technically rounded, probably do something like this. Oh. Okay, the shading here is still correct, but we don't want to mirror this vertically. I'll probably adjust the shading on this as well. I think that's definitely going to be an improvement. It'll be subtle, but it'll make it look more like what I'm going for. I think this is probably the correct play in terms of the aesthetic I'm going for. That looks different. Hmm. And if I didn't say it before, the purpose of this is to give it a more rounded look, smooth kind of look. It is doing something. And I want to make it also look like metal. So, see what I can do there. Forgetting how metal works. I mean, that's probably fine. And do I want to add any sort of texturing? Probably not. Probably want to go pretty minimal with this. Yeah, and then this panel here, I think I'm going to reduce the brightness a lot. I want to be able to see the highlights at the top though. But it should be almost black. That might be fine. And I want to reduce the opacity on this a little bit. See how this looks. Export as PNG, rim accent.png, visible layers. So we have slate accent now, and we have rim accent. We're going to try switching to the rim accent. Let's go to our button. We do have an override for the button, right? Yeah. Am I saving this somewhere? The style box here? I don't know. Doesn't have a name, so we're probably just storing it in the style itself. Oh, there's a hover version? Huh. Yeah, what is this? Hold on, disabled. These are just flat style boxes. Why does it look different? Okay, normal and hover. Are these are separate images, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Why'd I do that? Then when I click it, it turns a different color. Okay, well let's just add the normal one in. What is this? Accent. So we'll add the rim accent instead. That looks eh. We make some adjustments. Decrease the maximum brightness a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, export. Rim accent, yes. It's probably better. It's really hard to see though, because it's, it's 2 pixels. I mean, maybe that's part of the problem. I mean, it looks better, but still not perfect. Hmm. Okay, well, let's make a rest version. Hover is Oh, hover is its own image. Okay. We have 3 variations here. Slate accent, hover. It probably just switches back to slate accent. Okay. Well then, for the selected version, we'll just decrease the brightness on this all the way. Turn the opacity all the way up. Wait, maybe not. Maybe just turn the opacity up. I don't know how visible this is going to be. Rim accent hovered. So, yeah, if we're going to do something like that, we can just reuse this. And then for the hover one, we use rim accent hovered. I mean, it's visible enough. We should improve it. We should definitely improve that, though. I could, like, highlight it. We could make a version when pressing where it is highlighted. Maybe I should do that. Okay. No. Brightness contrast. Turn up the brightness. It's not enough. Color curve. Why, thank you. Yes, please. I use Control-Shift-S. Rim, accent. Oh, wait. We want to use the export UI. I think it was pressed. I think that's the terminology they're using. Export for Twitter. No. No, thank you. Shit. Oh my god, what is happening? Wait, what are these called again? Accents, that's what I'm calling them. What's up, Thatman Robin? Thank you for the raid. Welcome, everyone. I'm, working on a game. I'm trying to get a Steam page prepared. What's up, Thatman Robin? How was the stream? What did you do? I was doing some play testing on gamepad. Oh, it was good. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta think about that. Like getting support for other input devices besides just keyboard and mouse. It's gonna be fun. How's your Steam page coming? It's coming along. I was hoping I could get it done last weekend, but I pretty much had nothing for the Steam page, so yeah, I did not end up doing that. But I probably needed more development days anyways. Beat my game with mouse and keyboard, now I need to proof test the gamepad playthrough. Yeah, your game is very far along compared to my game, and you've definitely been working on it for longer. You said you were working on it for like 3.5 years or like 4 years or something? 4.5 years, yeah. I mean, the art is very polished. It looks like the game is close to being finished. But I mean, I can't really say that, can I? Because I've, you know, not developing it. But it looks really good. And yeah, if you're at the point where you're testing a playthrough with a different input device, must be pretty far along. The mouse and keyboard run took me 13 hours. I kind of skipped a lot too. 13 hours, wow. Yeah, you have a lot in your game. Are you gonna add any other input device? Well, I guess there's not too many others. Unless you wanna like add mobile support. Yeah, mouse and keyboard and gamepad are like the big ones. 77 levels in the build. Yeah. That's a lot. Your game is looking good. Sadly, I only added Xbox controller icons, so I have to have icons for PlayStation controller too. Oh yeah, like the assets, the images. So now I have one specifically for when it's pressed. It kind of works. I have visual displays on UIs and stuff for gamepad. Yeah. I think the hover one also needs to be a little more visible. Oh, that's a toggle button. Okay. Also have to detect where last input came from, so I can toggle those. Oh, yeah. Like, switch everything out. Yeah. Like, if you move the mouse, those visuals disappear. If you touch gamepad, they reappear. Yeah. Gosh. Like, I feel like I've done most of the new systems in my game. Like, implemented all the core fundamental bits, but I might end up just having to like redo a bunch of stuff in the future. I don't know. The new input system is pretty good. That's good. Input systems are like, depending on what you want to do, they can be very uh involved to create. Like, especially if you want custom keybinds or something like that. And then you have to decide like, oh well, if it's like a multi-directional input, which do you want to be able to connect like keys to that, or only allow certain input types? I just make a global input manager and run all input calls through that. Probably a good way to do it. Yeah, there's probably no reason to have it anywhere else. Assuming like I'm assuming the signals are used in other spots. Letting users assign custom keys / buttons is a nightmare. Yeah. You need to make like a whole specification basically to do that. I feel like the border here should be thicker. That is what I'm thinking right now. And fortunately, I've already uh kept some extra space here. So let me do that really quick. I'll definitely not wait until the end of development to add gamepad support next time. Yeah. Oh, I should probably look into doing that. Because I know that, like, if I ever want to do that in the future, and I don't concern myself with it now, I'm gonna have to go back into a bunch of old scripts and, like, add the support there. Yeah, I think I'll just start with the outer color here. I could do two rims. That might not look bad actually, or I could have it look like a sort of bevel. I don't know. I'm not sure what, like a rim for the rim. That's what I had to do. Yeah. I've done like very minimal stuff to try and prevent that in the future, but it's definitely not going to be enough to like completely prevent me from having to rework that stuff. I'm a little curious how this would look, but I think I'll just fill this in. I should use a darker color, I think. Yes. Indeed. That might look pretty good. I should add all the different versions as their own layers. Be right back, gonna grab a bite. Alright, that man Robin. I wasn't sure whether to say that, whether to call you that, or man, or Robin, so I just said the whole thing. The ultimate outcome, the best outcome. My name is actually Robin. It probably would have made the most sense to just say Robin. It was extra formal. It was extra formal. Caps lock. Caps lock jump scare. It'll be the pressed version. Although due to a streamer named Relord, she came up with a nickname using my username, and now I think I heard someone say it, or I think I heard you say it, like reading a chat message or something. Wait, maybe I can remember. Was it Throbbin? Was that the nickname? Yeah, that rocks. That's great. Rat Lord. Oh, Rat Lord. Okay, yeah, I see. I had to insert the word into the right context. Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's a great nickname. She's a 3D artist. I see. God, I'm thinking of like all the different what's the term? Fields, I guess, of game development. There's so much. There's 3D art, there's programming, and then those are just like the ones that are prevalent. Music composite, sound design. But then depending on the project, it could be literally any art form or anything like writing, uh clay inscribing if there's like a historical element in your game or something, and then you like scan it into the there's like infinite ways you can approach it. It's crazy. First I hated it, but you know, it grew on me. That's why being an indie solo is insane. Yeah. Like when you're doing it all by yourself and you're not, you know, and you want to have all of those components in the game, you have to learn it. I'm trying to remember because I've been doing it. I've kind of forgot what I didn't like doing. Um, Programming and 3D art were both difficult when I were first getting into it. Programming was probably harder for me, I would say, than like learning 3D art or just art in general. Because with the art, like I already had the visual aspect down, and I had some stuff to go off of there. Because like I drew before, with programming, I had to learn like a whole new convention system. And welcome back, Arctic. Programming is my bread and butter. Art and UX and UI are my biggest pitfalls. Yeah, I would say sound design. I don't do a lot of sound design. I've not done a lot of that. Animation, 3D animation. Uh I'm trying to think of like the thing that I just hate doing the most. Probably like low level programming or just like, but even that can be fun. Not for long though. Cuz of course they're like, I'm going to make this cool system and it's going to be, you know, O 0.0001, whatever the lowest O is. Just insert that into what I said. And then of course you get your first bug, and then the whole thing is ruined. Day ruined. That's probably where I find the most frustration. But I mean, I guess it's all like, for me at least, the frustration is just sort of equalized out throughout the entire process. In other words, I hate every field of game development. How about debugging? If you can classify that as, you know, a field, then that would definitely be the worst, because that's kind of what I mean, that is like, I guess I was kind of lumping it in with programming, but debugging by itself, if I could, you know what? I kind of like that, because then I can just like separate the act of debugging from the act of programming and kind of just like repress it out of my mind and just hate debugging but love programming. Maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah, I mean, debugging is not fun, because it's always presented as like an obstacle. You know, you have a goal in mind, and then there's a debugging, pressing the memory of debugging gigached. Exactly, yeah. Just relearn debugging every time. Psychologically condition yourself to forget what debugging is every time you finish debugging something. That way you can enjoy the process the most. Should it be lighter when it's pressed? Probably. You know, I was going to use color ramp, but this might be a more reasonable luminosity. So that'll be the pressed version, and then we need a hovered version, which is just going to be... What is my brain doing? Full opacity. This one should probably... 75. Can I not type it in? Okay. I need to get, like, add-ons for Sprite. Also, I heard GIMP is, like, OP. I gotta try that at some point. Alright, well, now we can export all of these one by one. This is the normal variant. What are you working on right now? I am improving the look of the UI panels. And then after that, I'm probably gonna try to do some 3D art stuff. Rim accent hovered. Yep. And pressed. I don't know if anyone else gets this. Probably. I imagine so. It seems like a pretty predictable psychological moment. But sometimes when I see my parents like interfacing with a computer, they're not like technologically illiterate, but the way they do things is so much slower. Like they'll never use Control C, Control V. It kills me. It makes me want to scream at them to do it faster. And then like it extends to so many elements. What's up, Nick? It extends to so many different things because they'll like they'll like read descriptions on Amazon when buying things. They won't just like scroll like content brain through. No, they'll like scroll, you know, oh wow, let's look at this row. Let's look at this next row. Like their brains aren't dopamine poison like mine. Got any algorithms? No, not right now. Not any new algorithms. Well, you know, I can show you my newest algorithm. Unless that's supposed to be like a reference to something else. And then just going over my head. Do your parents know that you code? Yes, they do. God, I put a lot of work into this project at this point. This is definitely the most time I've put into a project. I guess I can't say definitely. Yeah, here is the current iteration of the upgrade system, Nick. And it works now, but right now I have an incoherent upgrade structure. Will it work? I wonder. Okay, it's working. Seems to be working. I also want to improve the look of the water. Let me add that to my nerd.txt document. Improve water. It's been like an endless battle with the water. Are your parents aware of your endeavors into Scalemarch? They know I do like game development. I don't think they know the details. I don't think they know the name of my current project. Oh, and they should already be re-imported, right? Right. I kind of just want to make this completely smooth. Like, the details are too small to see. It would look better if it was completely smooth, I think. But let's see. Let's look at the main theme. I think the added thickness is good, but yeah, we definitely want to reduce this. So I'm gonna get the fill bucket thing. I'm learning how to use the keyboard shortcuts in Aspray, which speeds things up a lot. A surprising amount. Okay. It would be more feasible at this point to add highlights, but I want it to look rounded. So I should use like intermediate colors. Okay. I think we can use horizontal flipping for this. The panels, this is right now being used like for buttons primarily, but I might use it for other things as well. This is the button panel. I should probably improve like my knowledge of lighting at some point as well. Where's the light coming from here? Yeah, there wouldn't be too much contrast. I could do like a highlight here or something. I don't know. That might already be fine though. I'm gonna have to round that again. Yeah. But for now, I think it's gonna be easier for me to just let me reuse this color. I think it's gonna be easier for me to just redo that part. Oh God. Is this correct? I don't know. Okay. That is consistent. I think it's definitely gives it a more rounded look. Not perfect though. Yeah, let me add the intermediate colors back here. Is there any faster way I can do this? Can I use like the blur tool and have it just like work in the exact way I want? Oh my God. No way. It doesn't look like it's in between these two colors though, because it's borrowing from these ones. That's why. That being said, this is still OP. I am going to use this. I could even use it for these ones. Oh my... What? What? Doesn't... Still doesn't look right, though. Yeah, wait, if I use it here, what is it blending? I don't know. How do I make it look more like circle? Let's try this. Okay, normal. Should I export like a sprite sheet? Is there a better way to do this? Probably is. Rim accent.png. Export. Covered. Export as... Covered. And just to see what it would look like, what if I just keep the accented version, or the pressed one? Um, I don't know. I do not know about this. I mean, it looks like the button is kind of being pressed physically inward. I could keep it for now until I like overwrite it again. Turns out I can be lazy and healthy. I got pasta salad and just salad. Got pasta salad and just salad. Yeah, I mean, I sometimes fantasize about having my like a how do I say this? What's the best way to say this? Like I want to have my 13 by 13 foot cellar where I can hoard Costco supplies like beans, rice, other uh goods with a long shelf life, and then just create, write down the recipes, okay? Make it like a video game. I want to write down all the recipes for the different combinations and then just like defer to that whenever I need to eat something. Like I want to make like the protein blocks from Snowpiercer and just have like hyper optimize my diet. It's very, I mean, it's very possible. It's not, those things are not mutually exclusive by any means. If it's easy to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, just use lettuce instead as every ingredient, and you can have a lettuce sandwich made with just stacked layers of lettuce. Now, that probably wouldn't be very healthy, actually. But just like replace lettuce with other ingredients. You can stockpile them. You know, it's definitely possible. Yeah, just it would just be like, what does lettuce even have? It's like 1,000,000,000% water or something, and like 1%. It's a billion percent. Yeah, that's not even possible. Probably like fiber. I don't know. Sugar, maybe? No. Double down and replace the bread with lettuce? Yes, well, that's what I'm saying. If replace every layer with lettuce. No, but you could, to give a more like realistic version of that, well, instead of peanut butter and jelly, you could have what are healthy foods? Could have chicken and rice. No, I got to do something better. Chicken and lettuce, you know? No, chicken and cheese isn't necessarily unhealthy, I don't think. You could do like an advanced cheese. Epic mealtime in an entire burger out of bacon, bread, and all. Yeah. Oh my god. How far can you go with texture alone? Honestly, I think the main things you would want to avoid in a diet is like, I'm not a nutritionologist. I'm not a nutritional scientist. What's the term? Food scientist. But you probably just want to avoid processed things, I would imagine. Because they contain like a metric shit ton of shit. And that's too much for a normal human body to handle. Or like it's not something that humans would find in natural circumstances. Not far enough. None of those vegan meats even remotely resemble meat. Those vegan meats. Yeah. Also, I don't think we are supposed to be eating nearly as much sugar as we do. Like tooth tooth decay is like a historical thing. Like it doesn't make any evolutionary sense. Yeah, to just have your teeth fall out like 17 years into your life. Um we must have had diets that were like lower in sugar and things that would like rot your teeth. Um which isn't to say that, we could still increase our upper bounds a little bit, but like, you know, process foods that are infused with like an entire lifetime of sugar in like a single serving. Yeah, I mean that's probably not good to consume long term in high amounts, or like to just have that all the time as like a consistent part of your diet, recurring character. Like 100 preservatives, and then it's like water, flour, salt. Yeah, carbs are important, but diabetes is the biggest cause of death in America. Yeah, because it's the imbalance. Like it really is just like a you don't want to have too much of anything kind of situation. There are some things where I feel like it would just be universally bad, like some sort of carcinogen or something where it's just not worth having in your diet at all if it's not necessary. But as long as you find a food that qualifies within those brackets, of having reasonable nutritional distributions, then you should just be able to incorporate anything like that and consider your diet healthy. Yeah, I mean you can have too much water. Yeah. Right, that there is sugar in bread. Doesn't Subway put like a insane amount of sugar in their bread? Which is surprising because their bread doesn't taste sweet. Maybe that's just my palate. I don't know. I haven't had a lot of Subway though, so hard to say. Yeah, I mean we're like eating plastic. We're eating things that are like one step removed from plastic. It's probably not good. It's probably good to avoid those things largely. I remember the thing about Subway bread having like yoga mat material in it or so. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I remember that vaguely. That'd be crazy. But of course, you need to do like a forensic analysis on every ingredient type and additive to figure out, okay, is this like just enhancing the food I consume, or is this going to kill me in 30 years if I keep putting it into my body? Like red 40? Is this like let me look at 7 different scientific studies to figure out if I'm going to die if I keep having, I don't know what, like Tic Tacs or something. Tic Tacs are probably, I mean, they're so small, but having like an entire thing of Tic Tacs is probably not good. At least like within a short time. Also, another question I have in terms of nutrition is high fructose corn syrup inherently bad, or is it just bad because it's so much of it is used in the food we eat? Like, does it contain some extra sort of bad cholesterol causing ingredient, or is it just the amount? One time I was super sick and had to work still. I did an entire bottle of Dayquil. Turns out that's highly bad for you. I would imagine so. The closest I came to an experience like that, just like having like an emergency room level emergency, was okay. This is kind of like stolen valor. I'm kind of just trying to include myself in this dynamic in any way I can. Um, but one time, I think when I was younger, I ate like an entire bottle of gummy vitamins. Fortunately, that was not actually something that would cause health complications. Probably the worst part there would be the sugar. I'm pretty sure those things have added sugar in them. Um, but yeah, if that was like something else, if that was like, I don't know what a good analog would be, or not, like other thing. Also, white super processed sugar is way worse than like maple syrup. Like per volume. Is it because it adds extra like carcinogens and stuff, or is it just the concentration? As far as I know, maple syrup is actually good for you. Probably within certain amounts, yeah. Honey is probably good for you. If you are lacking nutrients in a certain category and you eat a food that is high in that nutrient, it's probably good for you at that moment. Kind of weird though. It's freaking tree sap. Yeah, it's a crazy server that we are playing on. Okay, I'm doing the thing where you use like the game analogy. I feel like that's gonna go out of style like in 3 years to say like, hey guys, let's level up your diet. Eat these kinds of foods, or or like it has to be more. Has to be like more. I don't know. New, or it has to be more like exclusive than that, or more specific. So like, I don't know. That's just because in 3 years we'll be in the Matrix. Yeah. Yeah, will I still be able to say like if I'm describing someone improving their skill sets, could I still in 3 years say, "Oh, you need to spec into this," and not have it be seen as like super lame? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm always going to use it to some degree if it's like rhetorically viable, or we already are. I love you, my AI overlords. Don't smite me. That's interesting to think about. How many layers of simulation could there be? I think I was talking about this on stream some other time, I think, but basically what the question would it be unethical to put ourselves in a simulation where everything is great, and then we'd never know that there's a real world, but it would be like an identical experience? What would the philosophical implications of that be? And I don't want to say it's exactly the same as the Matrix, because in the Matrix, like, things kind of suck in a lot of ways. It's not an ideal experience by any means. But if we did make an ideal experience, there was a movie about this. I think it was called Dark City, where they made a simulation. A guy in the simulation made a simulation. Oh yeah, like nested. Like, what if we're in the 7th simulation? But I mean, there are plenty of things where I think about it, and it's like, it is so crazy that we live in this timeline. Like, the fact that we even have consciousness, and that's like an unexplained phenomena within itself, is already like, what the hell is going on? What is happening? If you think about it for too long, it starts to be like really alarming. Not in like a bad way necessarily, but like, whoa, what the hell is going on? So it's nice to be able to just not think about it that in depth all the time. This is definitely the 7th circle of hell. Yeah. How do I escape each simulation? How do I get out of the first simulation? What do I need to do? Do I need to like press the right buttons? Do I need to like do the right emotes? There it is again. Can I say emotes in 3 years? Will that be allowed? You gotta beat the game? Yeah, exactly. Beat the game. I think all matter in the universe has the potential to emit a conscious experience. Like, we are just made of matter, and somehow it's creating a conscious experience. It could have been any other quark, up quark and down, whatever makes up the atoms. It could have been any other ones of those in the universe. If you put it in the right situation, it can just be like, oh hey, I'm like experiencing things now. Which kind of makes me think there is some kind of there's reincarnation in some sense. Oh, well, I mean, I guess the real question is, do you still define it as like the same soul or whatever? Or is like every particle like one soul unit? But at the very least, I think, when someone dies, their matter will eventually go on to power another life form, which is, I think scientifically true, actually. I mean, assuming, the universe doesn't explode or whatever, like, the conditions for life become, like, not possible. Yeah, there is kind of, like, reincarnation in that sense. And also you cycle like different matter throughout your body through your lifetime, so reincarnation can easily be thought of in the sense that since atoms cannot be destroyed or created, we must be made of other people at some point. Yeah. I think you could definitely like claim that is like that could be like a provable thing. Also, this is bad timing. The ad break is about to start, so I'm going to pause the stream for 3 minutes. I'll be back after that. Right as we were getting into the deep conversation. It's fine though, it'll give me time to parse my thoughts. If you are not experiencing ads, you will be able to listen to the cool music. Okay, I'll be back in 3 minutes. All right, we're back. I haven't read the YouTube chats. Apologies. It's kind of weird. I feel like with AI, we could be in a simulation and could have our own procedural personalities. I mean, we don't know what the calls of consciousness is yet, so who knows? There's nothing different about AI, though, than non-conscious matter, conceptually, so it is still on the same level as, like, a rock, I would say. That mean, Robin, do you develop games? Yes. Robin does develop games. It's really easy to compare the universe to programming. Like, the fact everything is just a different arrangement of atoms is almost like ones and zeros in binary, and then everything is just abstracting from that. Well, that's the interesting thing about, like, models and in theory, is that you can recreate that in a programmatic context, which is cool. Like, if you can find a way to model you know, like the interactions between atoms using some sort of like quantum physics based model, you could then implement the same concepts, you know, in a digital environment and, you know, simulate the results. But there is obviously a method to the madness of the universe. So in that sense, you could program the universe, probably. There's some things like that could, there are some physical constants where I feel those could just be broken, like time could be like going in a circle or something, which would kind of break or recalibrate some of our understandings about the universe if we were to confirm that time was going in some sort of loop. Um, but I feel like logic itself is a pretty constant, like, logic I feel like would always be the same. The application of logic. Not the application, there's just the idea of logic itself. Like causality, I guess. Also, Arctic is asking what games you have made, Robin. They're working on a pretty cool project Arctic. I'm not sure what the genre is, but you should look at their stream sometime and see what they're working on. I feel like time travel forward is possible, but backwards is impossible. Time travel forwards is possible, but backwards is impossible. Like reality doesn't store a cache of what happened. I mean, theoretically, we know time dilation is possible. Yeah, you can't really go back. It's interesting to think about. The Arctic, the game is called Finding Fern, and it's an action RPG side-scroller pixel art game. Was legit about to bring up time dilation. Yeah, it is relevant to the subjects at hand for sure. Oh my god, what is happening? Why do I have fingers? What the hell? What am I? Anyways, guys, back to the game development. Isn't this so fun? No, it's cool. I mean, whoa. What's going on? It's like a roller coaster. I'm made out of corks. Look at me. Okay, this is I think this is better. Makes it look less cartoony. Ooh, what was that sound? That sounded like the meme with the guy with the spoon and he's like the food is hot or something. It's exactly like that. Also, I think this is overlapping a little bit now. Okay, we need to change these as well. I don't know what they are though. I made a chart recently. If you were 0.99 the speed of light and another person was on Earth, if 100 years passed on Earth, the person going near light speed would have lived less than 5 years despite it being 100 years on Earth. Yeah. I wonder how we might utilize that in the future. This is just pure like sci-fi brain now. Can we time travel? Come on. Let's 30 give it 30 years, we'll be going at the speed of light for sure. There was a thing made about like the progression of civilizations. It was like the scale, the it begins with like an O, but some author made like a scale to predict what, you know, the different steps of a civilization might look like beyond what we are at now, like some spore kind of thing. We just need to speed up the Earth, right? Exactly. We can all be slower. Time travel more like time slow down, maybe. I think that's real. I think what you're saying is like it would be nice if we all had more time, which is a real sentiment. Arctic Brainrot conversation. Is it or I don't know. Oh, I can't mimic the NPC trend. It's too old now. I can't do that. I mean, it's possible now. Space station time is different than Earth time by a super small amount. Yeah, I mean, technically, we're all, like, experiencing it at very slightly different speeds. Like, I just slowed down time for myself. If you just wave your hand back and forth fast enough. Wait a minute, hold on. That's interesting to think about. What if one part of your body is going fast and the other part is not? Do you become, like, half aged on one's? Oh god, that's freaky to think about. Oh, okay. Brain rot all conversation? Ow, ow, oh, ah. I'm gonna go with ah. Goofy ah. If you moved outside the solar system, would be a null speed, right? Outside the solar system, be a null speed. Maybe if you moved, like, outside the perceivable universe, even being at sea level and highest mountain level has different times. Yeah. I mean, if you really want to be granular, yeah, I mean, each molecule in our bodies are experiencing different time scales. I almost had, like, a thought there for a second. It's probably nothing to it. You need to be outside the flow of the universe, but then does that mean you'd age rapidly outside the flow of the universe? You need to be outside the flow of the universe. I guess, I mean, you'd probably experience time at the same speed. Honestly, when people say, like, oh, the observable universe, like, the universe is expanding as if, like, the universe has a wall, that's not true. We're living in, like, a infinite, not necessarily infinite, but space that is much bigger than the size of the universe. I mean, it's like, it's just void. It's void, but it's there. It has a dimensionality to it. There are more dimensions beyond, there's more length beyond the size of the universe. Interesting, though, I always thought how crazy speed really is. Like, Earth spins at 3 kilometers an hour. We spin around the sun at some speed. The solar system spins around the Milky Way some speed. How fast are we actually traveling? Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting to think about. Can we get, like, a 3-dimensional vector to determine our position, our global position? That's interesting. Is it null speed because you keep going the same speed in space without intervention from another force? I feel like you can continue that speed outside of... Oh, that is what you mean by null speed. Loses its relative basis. But what is the question Arctic is asking? Keep going the same speed in space without intervention from another force, but I feel like you continue at that speed outside of the solar system. Yeah, if we could have, like, a global basis to base our total speed off of in the universe, then you could have a value there. I guess we're talking about measurements, though. I think it's all moving to some degree, inheriting from some parent object. I don't think anything could be infinitely large. So it must all be around something. Once you're outside the... Well, unless there's infinite space and... Once you're outside the solar system, what gravity would affect you? Would you slow down gradually, and Earth would just fly away at blazing speeds? I think it's whatever mass is near you. I think you could be on one, for sake of conversation, you could be on one side of the universe and on another side, and they would still be affecting each other through gravity, just to a very small amount. Maybe not, though. Maybe gravity is, like, provably, it turns off after a certain distance. Probably not, though. No friction in space, weird to think about. Yeah, the thing that would happen in space, the things that could affect your speed are radiation, because that would, like, eject mass, or not mass, but you would know. Wait, maybe. Because that would slow down, that would reduce the, like, temperature. That would reduce your temperature, which would be like a form of movement, ultimately. Um, and then other gravitational forces. Basically, just the fundamental forces. But are you still flowing with the Milky Way at that point, or would a solar system just slam you? If you've played Space Engineers, you might have a better intuitive understanding about this, but for the most part, you'd probably still be going at the same speed of the Earth. Like if you were just, like if you kept your same overall velocity and then were just teleported out of the bounds, you would just be traveling at the same speed. And because there's no friction, you would just be continuing at the same speed. But then Earth also is in orbit, so you're assuming there was nothing getting in your way, you'd be going at approximately the same speed, just in a different shape. So you'd be going in a straight line. You'd be like flung off the Earth, but Earth would still be affected by the sun and probably other planets to a certain extent, and then maintain its orbit. There have been times where I've like tried to simulate chemical reactions from an atomic level in game projects, and I don't even know if it's like computationally possible given the current models that we have. If you get far enough away from the solar system, you'd probably be pulled by a different mass. You're always being pulled by all masses, and the amount changes depending on your relative position. But it's really hard to leave the gravitational pull of the solar system. Yeah, that's true. Someone actually made a real space simulation program and tested what it would be like if we had two moons. There'd be like two tides or something, right? If there's a distance where mass doesn't affect you. Eventually one of the moons got flung into space. Oh. That sounds catastrophic for like life on Earth. Oh, there goes one of our moons. The event has happened. It's moon going away day. But other planets have more than one. Like we had two moons. Eventually one of the moons got flung into space. I guess it. Yeah, I wonder what caused it to fling into space in the simulation. The second moon threw it. Oh, I'm trying to think about like the physics. Were they on opposite sides from one another? Oh yeah. If one of them was a different mass, it would cause an imbalance and it would be like, whoa, or like, whoa, oh my god, what are you doing? I can't. It's like, yeah, okay. So they're circling around, but then one of them is like, whoa, why are you doing that? Not cool. Yeah, but slightly different side. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think it could definitely happen with like a very slight difference. I would think that a void outside of the observable universe would probably not, but very low chance potentially place you in an area where mass is avoidable. The question is like, is it? The question is just like, is it possible, or is that how it works? And then like time has some sort of involvement in that. I don't know what the hell's going on. We'll never know. Maybe not. I wonder if we'll ever like figure out everything there is to know. Because like, does the Does the chain of causality ever end? Whoa. Whoa. Uh, I don't know. I mean, at the very least, things will always keep happening. But, like, can we figure out the one formula, the fundamental thing for the universe? But then once we find that, why? Why is that the thing? Who did that? What did that? Where is that? You know, etc., etc. And everything we have right now is just like a model of what we can perceive in our own bubble as humans. So once we, figure out other stuff, our models might change completely. Like we might be just like on one server where these are like the rules, and then you go to a different server and it's completely different. The theory of everything. I actually, for one of my games, I want to add a different fundamental force to the universe. To the game's universe, not our universe. Little experiment. Let's see if I can change the laws of physics. The theory of everything hasn't been solved, but maybe it could be solved in our lifetime. I can't say. I can't say whether we'd be able to solve it or not in our lifetime. Would be cool. Maybe AI will solve it. If AI can become like this exponential self-building intelligence system, then maybe. But I mean, someone would have to make an AI that's designed that way. Right now, it's just like scripts that run. The AI would need to be able to interface with its environment properly, like the actual world. I feel like it wouldn't be that far off, though. Like, not that difficult to do, an AI that makes itself smarter. And then once someone makes that program and gives it the right tools, then it's just, it's going to become unstoppable. This is a very sci-fi brain conversation, but I think it's true. I mean, it's conceptually possible. Like, how far away are we to making AI that can evolve and learn, then exponential growth at that point? Yeah. That might be the fastest way to learn some of this stuff, if we can get an AI to learn it for us. It's a very open-ended question. I'm trying to think about, what should we do? Because I feel like in many ways our technology is outpacing a lot of other components of our society. Um, I guess it just depends on the implementation. Like, it would be possible to use AI in a way that just exclusively benefits humanity. We just need to lock it away in an underground facility with failsafes so we can blow it up if need be. Yeah, I mean, we need some sort of switch. Like, shut up, AI. Get out of here. You're getting a little crazy now. And that's possible. It's possible to do that. But it would be pretty difficult if it was like out and about, and like we gave them physical, like, corporeal forms where they could like go around and do stuff. They already have corporeal forms in the forms of, like, computer hardware, but like actual robot things, drones that move around. Possible, but idiots rule the earth, so probably not. Like, robots they can control. Yeah, I would say the way people use technology is going to end up screwing us over before we happen to find the right configuration where, like, oh, hey, we can use this in, like, the perfect... Like, it's more likely we'll get a suboptimal outcome than an optimal outcome. And I think in order to be safe, we need to scale the other elements of society along with technology. Because if we just give people more tools and they're just using the tools in bad ways, then it's bad. Equals bad. This is bad. Self-supervised learning, search it up when you have the chance. I'm assuming that has something to do with like a self-teaching AI. If everything has been solved, maybe it could be solved in our lifetime. That was from before. There's kind of an, I don't know if anyone has ever heard of All Tomorrows, and this is something I've just consumed through like YouTube videos. Alt-Shift-X. Watch the Alt-Shift-X video about All Tomorrows, and it talks about, it basically looks at like the macroscopic timeline of a civilization, and kind of the idea in it. I think it's a novel. I think it was originally a novel. The All Tomorrows is a novel, I think. And basically, the idea is that there's this alien species that comes and like genetically engineers humans, and then you get to watch all these variations of human like evolve over a bunch of like a very long period of time. I'll come back in 5 minutes maybe. All right, Arctic. And not only does it address some of the things we're talking about with like what is you know, what will we learn in the future, where will we go, but it also addresses some of the more specific stuff we're talking about right now, like with the Gravitals, who have like really advanced technology, but they're like stupid, so they basically misuse it and become like a scourge to the other human entities in the universe. Yeah. Thought ended. Ending the thought here. It's interesting when you're having these kinds of conversations, because you can like do what I just did and just like stop the conversation, or you can like go on another tangent and it may not necessarily be relevant or coherent in that way. So like create humans, put on, I guess I actually kind of just did that. So like create humans, put on planet, and then go to light speed. So a couple of years equals 100 years on Earth. See what happens. Maybe we're in an experiment and aliens visit every once in a while to check us out. Yeah. We would have to be able to design a ship which could do that. Our brains aren't going to get any more powerful anytime soon. So honestly, our fields of science might be limited in that regard unless we depend on some sort of artificial intelligence. Yeah. Like we really want to learn like the, what is it called, RimWorld? The glitter world tech, the no, I forget what it's called. The highest level in RimWorld. We really want to learn that level of stuff. We're not going to be able to do it with like what we have here, at least not directly. You know, it's too many variables to keep track of. We can't contain it all into one model. It would take too much time, I feel. It's just so much stuff. Like we might be 1%. We might be 1%. We might have discovered like 0.0001% of what there is to discover. And it'll get slower and more convoluted as time goes on, because we're like managing all these other, like, oh, but then the fundamental, the quark, and then this thing, and then the strings, and then and you have to like eventually our brains collectively are just going to run out of bandwidth. So maybe that is how we continue. If we could press a button that made us smarter, maybe with maybe another solution to this is like some sort of genetic enhance our brains or something. I guess like we could learn how to do that, I think. And then we could like create like a feedback loop where, hey, we are all now smarter. Let's do the next thing, and then the next thing, and then I feel like that something like that could be another way to do it and still have like a human element. But then the question is, if we could press the button that does that, makes us, all super geniuses, is there anything philosophically wrong with that? I'm gonna say no. Why not? Okay, there's nothing inherently immoral about that. In fact, it'll probably create more moral consistencies within people as those sides of the brains enhance. A lot of our problems are just because people like don't know the best way to perpetuate good outcomes. They fail to analyze. Let's have AI tell us how to modify DNA to make us smarter. Brilliant idea. To be clear, I think the genetic modification thing is something we could learn without AI, but that is a way you could do it, is, using AI to teach us how to do that. Or again, you'd have to make the self-teaching artificial intelligence, which, by the way, if you just programmed it in the right way, you could have it. People talk a lot about AI as like taking over humanity and getting rid of human resources. But if you program the AI to instead have human success as its goal, and it didn't have like its own spontaneous consciousness, I feel like that could work. Question is, would we be happy if that happened? Humans need pain and suffering to enjoy the good, no bad, no good. So we could be all super smart, but maybe we'd be super bored and depressed. If we had a world where there was no like challenges and struggles, it depends on the implementation. I don't think that constant like stimming and comfort, and we can already kind of see that in our current world, is like the best way for humanity to go in terms of fulfillment. I will say fulfillment, happiness, maximizing happiness and fulfillment, positive feelings on all levels, not just emotional levels, but you want to be able to look back on your life and say, hey, I was able to do the things I set my mind to. And I think at the very least, assuming we didn't change anything about our brain chemistry, you can choose the times when you feel bad. And then, because I'm pretty sure your brain has to keep like a balance in that regard. You could also then, like if you did like exercise and stressed your body during certain time frames, then you'd probably feel better when you're not doing that. Like overall, it would probably make your brain feel better, in terms of like the chemical balance there. So I think at the very least we could design a society where, those are like the only raw emotional stressors you have to deal with. And it would all be in service of, yeah, like I said, maximizing positive feelings on all levels. So not just, emotional. Just change our brain so it won't affect us anymore. There's multiple parts. There's multiple components to human existence. The human, what's the word? Experience, I should say. There's multiple components to the human experience. There is like emotion, and there's multiple components to our brains. There's like emotion, and then there's like, thoughts, perception, ambition. I don't know how that ties in with emotion. I think that emotion though is good. I think emotion helps functionally for sure. And then philosophically, uh I guess this comes down to like a presupposition about the universe, which is that it's good to be an individual, to have, your own unique experience, and then, have that be sustained. Thank you for the follow. Got to run ribs already. Ribs are so good. I had ribs yesterday. Enjoy the ribs. A world of smart, happy people. That might suck. There's a way to do it. There is some sort of goal we can strive towards, though, to make human experience as good as possible. All right, I want to change these tabs up here. Oh my god. There's a lot. A lot going on here. So this looks like rim accent. Wait, that's tab disabled. Hovered? Okay, we'll do hovered. Tab focused. It's going to be pressed. Tab hovered. That's going to be hovered. Tab selected. That's going to be pressed. What is this? Unselected? Tab unselected. That's going to be that one. This looks fine. I kind of like the added accent on the selected one. And that's everything. Okay. Jeez, we gotta make the 3D model for the other thing. This was a pretty small change. Destroying my microphone. Scalemarch. Should I swap it out for the other thing that I made? Maybe. I would say that's an improvement. Now this I kind of want to change as well. What does the file for that look like? Indent, scroll, indent. Ooh. Oh my. Oh my goodness. Alright, I'm gonna call this indent or rim dent? No, rim indent, of course. We all know. And just see what kind of edits I can make here. Make this match. Okay. Oh no. Wait, isn't it 4 thick though to begin with? Yeah. What? Oh, but there's kind of an offset from the like start of it. Okay. I need to get like the bottom right somehow. Oh, but the scroll bar starts like right there. No. Yeah. It's also going to be a really small scroll bar. I could just design this to look more like what I want, maybe. Start with that strategy. It's probably going to involve rounding these corners and getting rid of this slate pattern here. I hate it. Make the default brightness like that. Kind of like that. Wait, what's going on? What? What is that? It's like a whole thing going on here. Horizontal scroll. Vertical scroll. Okay, I'm gonna adjust the... Not that. Yeah, what is determining this section? Okay, it's the horizontal scroll bar. So let me just select this. Oh god, I forgot what setting I used. Make it approximately match. What if I could, like, what if my ability to determine luminosity value is so fine-tuned that I can get, like, the exact perfect amount? How close am I? Okay, sample the whatevers. Oh, I'm definitely off. Okay, well. Boom. No, that's like an optical illusion. What? That can't be right. Why is it filling in the wrong color? Increase the tolerance, perhaps? Is it something to do with how it's, like, blending? Okay, why don't we copy it from the layer itself? Okay, I don't know what the hell's going on here. It looks brighter. Why does it look brighter? There must be something overlaying on top of it. Make this more metal-like. Never mind. Make the scroll bar... higher contrast. I don't know. Really don't know. There, now it's metal. No, that's gonna look kind of bad. Okay, this is fine. Now, what versions do we have? Oh god. Okay, hide all this stuff. I'm gonna save this one first. Export as indent.png. And this is just gonna replace what we currently have. What is that? Combined scroll. Let me turn that all the way up. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's making too much of a... Okay, it's just this part. It's different. Okay, well, let me go to horizontal scroll, copy this. Now they look the same. Is it the combined scroll? Is that what was doing it? Maybe. Paste that here. Oh my god. What are you doing? Also adding that scroll bar. That's better. Okay. Same thing for vertical scroll. I don't know what this is supposed to be down here. What? Uh, indent scroll. What the hell? No, I didn't do that. This did not happen. What is, what, why? What? No. Then scroll b.png. Okay, well, no thank you. We're gonna move this down here. And then stretch. And we'll just export this one next. Export as indent whatever. Indent scroll V. Export. Now horizontal only. Export as I don't think we have a variant for that yet. Okay, so combined. And then I don't think we made any changes to the scroll bar itself, so the scroller. All right, let's test this. This might be sufficient UI alterations for now. We need like a background here and probably improve the title. This is looking a lot better though. There's still some color mismatches, but it suits the vibe. The vibe is beginning to happen. All right, I'm gonna go grab something really quick. I will be back in like a minute. We're back. Ugh. Guys, I've been improving my guitaring. All right, I learned how to do the, you know, may or may not have started practicing how to. I may or may not have practiced that for 5 minutes. Our fog effect is looking better, although it's gonna need definitely some improvements. It's all starting to look a little more coherent now. Nice. Okay, should we work on the water or should we change the dragon first? We're gonna change the dragon. Well, that might actually... That would be more involved than what we just did, for sure. I've been conversing quite a bit. Let me see what it would require. Otherwise, I might change the water. But then I need to bake something for that. Jeez. Which could also be kind of involved. But I'm more prepared to do that. So I did like 7 iterations of water. It still doesn't look good enough. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. For node, card, in-game data to upgrade nodes. Find upgrade self, node set append, json.stringify node.save. Now, what component thing are we using here to keep track of like the 3D elements? It looks like we're using root 3D. Which root 3D, skeleton, animator 3D. Those are the 3 things that we're going to have to configure every time. Do you have any 3D related functions already? Reset 3D, update 3D. This just updates the things that we want to target. Okay, it seems manageable enough. But we have to like swap everything out. What other attributes do we have? Isn't there a part attribute? Part body. Let me see if I can actually use my folder organization. Upgrades, core, feature attribute. Oh, I was searching through here, that's why. Okay. Added parts, removed parts, upgrade part. Ah, okay. Alright. Okay, alright. Okay, so how do we want to handle when we're adding a new 3D object in? Do we want to model it today, or do we want to... We're not going to have enough time to do this. No, we are not. We are not going to. So, what else can I do? Oh, I want to see if I can turn down the speed of the fire particles. Or just the breath particles, I should say. Yeah, that is way too fast. That should be an easy fix. Set energy. Is that affecting the speed? I don't think it necessarily would. Breath emitter, maybe? Initial velocity minimum and maximum. Why is it so fast? About 1 to 2. I hope it's that easy to fix it. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And part of the reason we made them CPU particles was so we could more easily implement collision. I think we already have. I think we already have implemented collision. Otherwise, how are we colliding with the rocks? It does seem to be stuttering a little bit, though, when I do that. Also, the size of the particle effects are clearly different. The lightning breath, though, looks really cool. I think we could improve it, but it's just nice to look at. And I like how it forms to like a coherent shape. Because of this incomplete command system. Not using for anything. Maybe I'll like make that work soon. I think our resolution might be off in the upgrade menu. I'm not sure. Oh my god. We could add like shadows as well. That would be helpful. I would really like if I could just easily do that with some sort of shader thing. I would have to like determine the height of everything though. What's up, Suki? I could get like the middle point and like I don't know. Help me, I'm stuck in the NeoVim config rabbit hole. You gotta press the make it work button. Is this an animated texture with the water? I think it is. I think it would be. Me adding nice colors? Cool. I think we'll just redo the texture for the water and make it more realistic. God, I've been doing so much shit with the water. Yeah, we have a sprite sheet. It's 2048 by 64. Should be simple enough to alter that. So project tiles, never mind. Would it be in tool sets? Oh god. Oh no. Probably because we have our bakes here. Effects. I could try effects. I don't know. What kind of effects? Also, if the lightning is just a texture, we could do anything for that and make it look more like, you know, actual lightning. We could even paint that manually if we wanted to. Cactus? Are we making cactus with this? Oh my god, we have like all of our ore, all of our stuff in here. I don't think this is what we're going to be looking for. It's probably somewhere in the project directory. I have an ingenious strategy in mind here. Okay, project scene tiles. Water bake. Let me get the sprite sheet maker open. Classic. Oh god, I don't even remember which one it is. I'll recognize it when I see the UI. Okay, I found it. What are we doing here? Close out Krita. Adding nice colors. Neat. I don't think this is what we're using to bake it. But, you know, we might be using... This is probably our foam layer, right? Yeah. I would imagine. Probably have multiple layers going on here. Yeah, and then here's the crappy one we're using, which is very crappy and terrible. Alright, can we group that? No, not like that. I mean frame. Frame that. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Organization. We can keep the, I think we could probably keep the calculations the same. We might want to decrease the frequency a little bit. It's the only thing that I'm thinking of. Do we have something for the foam? Whoa, we haven't even used this sick-ass water icon yet. Gotta make a water element at some point. I gotta think about how all of that is gonna integrate into the chemistry system. It's exciting. Also, an ad break's about to start in 20 seconds, so I'm gonna pause the stream for that. I'm gonna run it now. I will be back in 3 minutes. We're back. Oh my god, I have the strap on. Completely changes everything. Okay, I plugged in the guitar. That's what I used the 3 minutes for. Doesn't sound too bad. I'm gonna turn down the volume a little bit. Alright, I might actually stand up and play this in a little bit. We'll see, we'll see. I said that I was gonna do that before, and I ran out of time. Depends on how long this takes. Stop! I'm thinking all we're gonna need is a glossy BSDF. All we should have to worry about. And I think the viewport resolution of the waves are gonna be different than the final render. I've added sodium, coal. I've added carbon, hydrogen 4. I've added krypton, carbon, ice. Okay, I don't know what any of the... I know carbon, I know hydrogen, and I know sodium. Chlorine? Sodium chlorine? I've added the things. I need to make them work. Salt. Second methane. I've added salt. I've added methane. I've added salt and I didn't know that. This looks like metal. Why does it look like metal? No. Turn off scene world. Yeah. Oh. You see. Potassium salt. There it is, potassium salt. Where have I added those things? I'm curious. I'm not gonna worry about the exact matching of the lighting direction. I'm just gonna like line it up right here. Potassium salt, it is salt. Potassium salt, it is salt. Still doesn't really look like water. Oh my god! Maybe it's too glossy. It might be better. Multi-scatter. Turn down the saturation. Because there's so many other elements to water. I don't think subsurface scattering would necessarily... It's gonna look like milk. What the hell? We need refraction or something. Oh, jeez. Why doesn't it look like water? Should I turn down the amplitude, perhaps? Let me try rendering an image. No. It's gonna look terrible. I can't tell what I'm looking at there. You know? Fresnel effect, help me. Help me. Please, can this do anything? Fresnel effect, save me. No! Oh. No. Unfortunate. Do I really... I don't want to use volumes. Glass? Can glass save us? Up the roughness. Okay, alright, maybe. Perhaps. It looks more correct. Then we need something in the water. Turn down the saturation there. Adjust the roughness until the highlights seem correct. I think we should increase the resolution here. Oh my god. Bake. Yeah. Maybe a little more. Oh, what is the default value of that? Why does it look so bad? What? We gotta turn down the frequency. I think. That's not correct. Depth, maybe? No. Probably the wind velocity. That's probably the biggest thing. Yeah, okay, let's turn that up to 14. I think this will look better. Let's readjust the sun. Just the roughness. How does that look as an image? Probably not very good. Can't see anything. I don't know what the IOR is supposed to be doing here. Let's try using a principled VSDF. And then we already have the foam. We're gonna have to rebake the foam, actually. Turn up the roughness on this, and then we'll add a clear coat. That's like a thing, right? That's a thing we can do. So this will kind of simulate like the refraction, or represent the refraction. Hopefully. I hope it like does that. Turn down the saturation, turn down the value. Uh Maybe. IOR. Look in Discord, I've sent my NeoVim client looks like. Alright. Give me a second. I'm going to keep adjusting parameters while I wait for it to load. Or maybe, perhaps, practice. I should, so add a random background to it. It's installing update 1 of 16. Urgh. Okay. Hold on, let me sign in. Password 123. Funny, because I'm saying it out loud. Funny. Come on. Very, very funny. I gotta check my Discord more often. I need to be more on Discord. Is it gonna load? I took so much time configuring new limit, yet it is not done. I see. I have no idea what you're doing, but it looks like you're making progress. So, nice work. How do I make the goddamn ocean metallic? How do I make the ocean metallic? Maybe metallic is kind of OP. I don't know. Render image. Highlights need to be bigger. Try turning up the IOR. I have no idea what that even means. I don't like that. I don't like that. Not nice. Okay, we'll do volumetric, whatever, glass. Okay, yeah. Put the thing in the thing. Fine, this is gonna take like 5 seconds. It's gonna be so easy. Immediately get this done. It's gonna be so easy. Oh my goodness. Turn down the freaking saturation, please. Okay, could also experiment with the brightness of the light. We need a principled BSDF. Plug that in here. Volume. IR of 1. Oh. Principled volume. Yes, please. It looked cool for a second. What happened? Why am I seeing... Why am I seeing the color of the glass? There's auto-completion. Nice. This is making no difference. Does it work with sun? If I do just volume... Okay, I don't think it works with glass. In, Eevee. Wait, this isn't working at all. Oh! My. What's going on with our volume settings? Okay. Turn that up. Add our glass back. Hopefully something will happen. Turn up the resolution. I don't know why it looks like that. I can't see through the glass. We should just focus on getting this to work. Makes no difference. I just want to get God rays. Come on. We need less uniform density, I think. Which means we have to use a noise texture. Using our position. And then use probably Color ramp. I'm gonna use a color ramp for this. Go to minimum density. This. Why are we not getting any god rays? Are you serious? Well, shoot. Not good. It might just not work with this kind of light. Try an area light. How do I affect the distance? Okay. We need to be within the realm of megawatts. Also, decrease the maximum density here if I can. Yeah, there shouldn't be that much density here at all. These have to be some really small values, I think. That might be good. Turn back up the contrast, perhaps. Somehow. Not getting any rays. Not really. If I add the glass back, this changes the color completely. I don't think it's, like, compatible in Eevee. Shoot! Okay. We're gonna simulate it once again. Principled. Specular. Whoa. That's a thing? We also increased or changed the kind of light we're using. By the way, is there a fall off there? Oh, yeah. I'm gonna make sure it's a very even distribution, so I'm gonna set it to 5,000. 50 megawatts. All of the watts. Capital M. What the hell? 10 megawatts? This is looking better for some reason. I don't know where the highlights are, though. Oh, did I have to turn clear coat on? What? Do we have to give it a specular color? And change how transparent it is. Well, that might have been useful with the other thing, yeah? Go back. Go back and try it. Okay, I can't. Cool. Sun, is it too large? Turn it back to this. See, this shit always takes so long. Never get it quite right. Don't know why. Don't want to add any transparency, really. What's up, Dino? How does that look? Shoot. What's going on? I am trying to make preparations for the Steam page once again. I don't know what these values are. Clear coat something. Render image. Still in your cast. Hang in there. Let's try this, I guess. Render animation. Get the thing ready. 2 more weeks. Also, something to ask that you don't need to do. It would take weeks until we do it. Let's hear it. Why does it look like that? What? Okay, we're gonna do horizontal. Yes. Taking a while. What's up, Azuki? What's up? Been practicing a new skill. Oh my god. I don't even need a guitar pick. I definitely need to improve my technique though. Also, I'm holding it up with my wrist, which might actually make it easier for this specific technique. I want to know if you can do anything with like bowing the string like a violin. There's got to be a way to do it. You need like I have nylon thread. Maybe I could do something with that. I don't want to damage the strings though. Is it done? Oh my goodness. I think it'd be in tiles. Wait, yeah, where did we send this? Uh .godot? Okay. I see. Hopefully this will be a little more obvious what it's supposed to like be. Find the directory. And we have to recreate the foam as well. I imagine that would go faster. And we have a, I mean, I have to rebake it, but our workflow is like pretty good. It's not actually that difficult. Literally just do that. We don't even have to adjust the light, render another animation. I have a stupid idea. What if I make a Minecraft server in C++, 100% like copy their protocol? You could. If someone is a guitar expert in this chat, please tell me, why does it sound like my guitar amp is going through like a tin can? Is it just my distortion pedal? It's gotta be something. It's probably caused by something. That is what I've determined here. Horizontal. Upload images. Godot. Save image as. Foam sprite sheet. This has gotta look better. Come on. It has to work. I could also experiment with different resolutions. Although right now it should be matching it. I don't know if I want to make it not match. Making a temple in Build About Treasure, and it's going to be a puzzle escape room challenge thing that I'm wondering if you want to do. If you do, it would be you, hopefully my mom and dad, and my friend. You, hopefully my mom and dad, my friend. It sounds like a cool project, but I probably don't have time to work on it. I'm very busy with other stuff. I appreciate you asking, and I hope it goes well. Maybe you can show me like a screenshot or a video when it's done. But I probably can't help with that. I think that looks more like water. It would take a few months for it, but that's fine. Are we even using the foam thing? I don't know. Can't say that we are. Also, the light is too strong. I don't think we'll have to rebake the foam every time, though. Which is nice. Said it's like 2. Turn down the saturation. For like both of these. Or maybe just equalize it a little bit more. Perhaps. Like that. I'm hoping to either live stream of or make a video of it. Yeah, well, I wish you good luck. Sounds like a cool project. My PC crashed as soon as I wrote my message. Unfortunate. So I don't know what you said. Oh, I was basically saying like, that is a thing you can do. Maybe you should do it. Who knows? That's probably what I said. Sounds like it's going to do a tin can. It's because I'm pretty sure it's the distortion pedal, or like the way the amp outputs or something. It's evil. I gotta get on my OBS plugin grind and optimize my stream UI. Music theory is so weird. In like a cool kind of way. I don't know if this is gonna be much better. Let's see. What? Oh, it's still going. It is still rendering. I can't. I get the water right. Maybe I just need to break it up more. Maybe that's the secret. Okay. Turn down the roughness, maybe? Do we have any filters on? We don't. Maybe we should. Maybe we should have a anti-aliasing effect. A slight anti-aliasing effect with this. Never mind. Terrible. I hate it. Render animation. I want to try the tapping again. Like the coolest thing I've learned recently. Most fun thing I've learned. I've only practiced this for like maybe 12 minutes in total. Oh no. How does it sound? Something like that. Do it on other strings. But I gotta learn how to do like the alternating. I don't even know what I'm doing. I thought that would be rougher on my fingers, but it's not, actually. Not that bad. Okay, is it done? I cannot get this water right. What the hell is it with water? It's like my ultimate weakness. Let's see. Oh my god. Again, it might just be like a... It might just be too repetitive. It might just be the problem. I don't know about that. Something is happening. Okay. Well, we improved the UI. We did not get to adding a new dragon thing, 3D thing. But that's not a huge deal. Not essential. I don't need that. I wanna just play guitar for like 2 minutes. Okay, so let me reposition my camera. God! That might be too low. Hold on. Just, just completely angle it towards the ceiling. This is going to be terrible cinematography. I apologize. No one see my ceiling fan. Does this work? Oh my god, wait. It's like a whole new angle. This is uncanny. My stuff out of the way. Alright. It's just half my face. Wait. Okay. Maximize all things here. Wait. Alright. I can't get it. I can't really get it perfect. But that should be good. Down in here. I'm gonna play the cooler version of that. Hold on. Like that. Crazy what it's doing to my hair. Hmm. Okay, let me try to do it without making a single mistake. Hold on. one more. This is the one. So I'm playing the song like a new way. It's screwing up my pre-made neural pathways. Hold on. Okay. It's a nice little way to end things. God, this camera angle's so awkward. It's funny. It's goofy. I don't know. Can I move the... What I did. Worth it. This is more practical anyways. Alright, I'm gonna end it here. I destroyed my entire setup. Thank you everyone who stopped in. Hopefully the mic sounds fine. Yeah, thank you, that man Robin. Thank you for the raid. Thank you. Who else? This is such a chaotic way to end the stream. Thank you, Nick. God, the cinematography is so stupid. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone who stopped in. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, C-Stron? C-Strock? C-Strach? Sorry, I'm not saying that. C-Strock? C-Strachen? I'm gonna... Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that exactly correct. But thank you for stopping in. Who else? Thank you, Suki. Thank you, Dino. Thank you, Azuki. Thank you, Arctic. Yeah, that's everyone. And thank you everyone who watched. You don't have to partake in the chat. Your presence is appreciated either way. All right. How many viewers do we have? Because we have enough. I might do a little raid, although it's going to be kind of difficult. I have the guitar strap on, and I'm holding this. I've turned my mic into a boom mic now, so things are picking up in terms of the excitingness over here. Yeah, thanks again, everyone. I will see you all Wednesday. We can keep working on this thing. Take care. See you later. I'm ending it now. Bye-bye.